to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon-Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and build it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. Whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and I give you just the tip, we are sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm Mental. And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming and listening to a fairly reliable Japanese car episode of our podcast. It's episode 323. The Mazda Familia, which is Latin for family, is a small family car manufactured by Mazda in between 1963 and 2003. But in the rest of the world, it is known as the Mazda 323. It also became the Protege and the Allegro. The Familia line was replaced by the Mazda 3 in 2004. Not driving your sensible yet sporty hatchback? Well, good, because you shouldn't be doing that while you're fiddling with your phone. Get out that E1R bingo card. We haven't updated it, but you know.
You probably won't get most of the squares, but you never know.
It's entertaining still.
It is entertaining. And we'll talk about what we were working on. I was judging with Sonoma with Tim Burr and Corey. We had a great time. And
how can you not with that crew right there? I mean, really?
Yes. And Corey has came up with a brilliant system that is completely arbitrary. He wrote all of the penalties on candy canes. And so the teams had to pick a candy cane, and even a couple of them said, get out of jail free. And he would hold the box of candy canes and say, now you can either pick from the box of candy canes or go next door to Ranger Road and make a donation, because they were the charity for the weekend. Surprising amount of people went to Ranger Road, but some of them chose the candy canes. One of them, you've got to get out of jail free card. But it was nice because no one could accuse us of picking on their team. So whatever they got was what they got. And they had some good ones on that one. I went to San Diego Sunday to meet with the group of guys that I run the NASA Enduros with and vintage racing. We were having a team meeting trying to plan out a year, and it would appear that the National Autosport Association is done with endurance racing. There is nothing on the West Coast out here under NASA for the
they
work
didn't give
series.
it long.
No, they did not. And
they mostly just tried to appeal to their current people without trying to look.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a shame because I didn't make it because I was working, but the last enduro that they had here, they ended up having to cancel because nobody signed up for it. But the ones that we did, we had a good time with, and they were really the only region that I think that went whole hog into it. I think now in 24, Arizona has one race with an endurance challenge on there, but it's literally in the middle of one of my exercises. I'm not gonna be able to make it, and the rest of the team can't make it. So I may have talked them into bringing a very boring, not cheaty BMW to Lemons and possibly Lucky Dogs. We're going to see what the season holds, but that all pales into comparison. And I thought about this on the way home. So everyone on the screen who owns a mid-engined subprime, by subprime, I mean not 911 Porsche sports car, raise your hand. Yes.
Who has ones that don't run right now?
Oh no! Oh! You
don't have one
that
you don't have one.
It did not burn this pod.
Oh, I figured you don't have one that doesn't run right now.
It's not optimal, but it runs. Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, if I hooked up a battery, it would run.
No,
not so, to.
Well,
run would move.
Run. The engine would operate.
The
engine would operate.
Right. We're burying the headline. So why don't you two tell everyone why we didn't record last week and bring me up to speed on now.
Let's do that.
I mean,
I
this
feel
could
like
almost
this is a copyright
episode.
infringement because
it might be better than the episode that we have going on.
Yeah.
So
how dare any of you have a non-running Porsche? That's my job.
This is kind of our episode. How about that? The other main topic is secondary because we've got enough to talk about here.
Okay.
Chrissy and I bought a 2000 Porsche 986 S It's a Boxster S for those that don't speak Porsche.
First gen Boxster.
First gen Boxster, but it's the
Late
S model. So yep, but it's the S. So it has the 250 horsepower 3.2. It has the 6-speed. It has the brakes straight off the 996. So it's the better one. And we did it basically as kind of an adventure. We had some PTO days to burn. We weren't exactly sure what we're going to do with them. And then this car came for sale in a part of the country we'd never been to. And right now we're trying to do some different things, like experiences you haven't had before. And this fit the bill. So this particular car came from a guy on the GRM forum who, I've seen his build threads for years. This guy is a Boxster enthusiast, among other shenanigans, like gambler cars. Like he has a Boxster gambler car, for example, that he takes off.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is. So he's absolutely a Boxster enthusiast. He has like 7 of them right now. He's like, I only want 4, but he's in that world. And people keep offering him cars that have a need. And so he's like, well, okay. So he had bought this one, like, or January last year as a very nicely well cared for car that actually someone had just done the IMS and the clutch on, and 2,000 miles later, glitter in the oil. And it was a well cared for, nice car. Otherwise, new top, new Michelin's, aftermarket, nice Corbeau seats that look great. Just well cared for overall. But needed a motor. He got it for an appropriate price and brought it home and said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I can't say no to this because it's a nice car. So a couple months later, another Boxster S falls in his lap. This one had a top that leaked and got into the electronics, and that made it so that it wouldn't run, and therefore, and got funky. So that car he also got for cheap, but he got the motor running and said, this motor sounds great. I know. And he put that motor into our car, what is now our car. And the process, he put a new IMS bearing in. As we know, the IMS bearing is the thing that makes Porsche 986s and 996s go for cheap, because this bearing goes and it ruins the motor and it's terrible. But he put a new one in. I have the old one that came out of it. I have the LN Engineering warranty card with it. It's all there, which is great. And so we flew to Oklahoma and picked up a sight unseen Porsche.
Back up. I think there was another picture before that. Good.
So yeah, we flew to Oklahoma, picked up a sight unseen Porsche, figuring we're going to drive this home. So we did.
At least from a trustworthy source. So that helped.
Yes. It seemed like a better than average quality car. It seemed like it was coming from a trustworthy source. I mean, I've watched this guy's build threads for years. He seems like a very nice guy. Like, another hobby he has is trying to tend to the feral cats that live in his neighborhood by trapping them and spaying and neutering them and feeding, like, a nice person. So we gave it, well, let's give it a chance. And he gave us a very fair price on the car. So we flew to
Hold on, you're jumping ahead. Hold on.
I'm not jumping ahead. Mental's jumping ahead with his pictures.
Yeah, I know. And there's only so many pictures.
I'm just sharing pictures.
Hold on. We're not there yet.
So we flew to Chicago and then flew from there to Tulsa, because there's no direct flights from Philly to Tulsa. Who knew? But guy picked us up at the airport with the car. I'd already sent him money. He'd already sent me the title. He said, here's the keys. Have a good day. And that was basically it. And we took off. And yeah, the car was as advertised. It's not a perfect car, but it's generally well cared for. It's been an Arizona and Texas car its whole life. So there's not even a hint of rust on any bolt, on nothing, not a speck. Like, I unbolted part of the exhaust tonight. Like, didn't matter. It's that clean underneath. So we got in, and it's not perfect, but that's okay. First, as soon as we roll out, I start to hear a wonk, 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 wonk noise.
And hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah. And he had said, yeah, these is your all season tires in this. They're a lot louder than I thought they'd be. I didn't usually run these. Yeah.
No,
yes,
no, it's not tires. No, that's what I was going to say. I was going to make sure, like we said, and of course, the first, 50 to 25 miles, we're like, that's coming from the one corner, not all of the tires. So,
and they're all brand new Michelins. So yeah, the wheel bearing, left rear wheel bearing going. Okay. We are 1,500 miles from home and have no tools and nothing at all. So, okay, let's go.
It's
so
probably
we started. we started our adventure and knowing that we just got to Oklahoma. Neither Chrissy and I had ever been to Oklahoma before, so check on the list. We said we are also close to Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. We are going to check all those off the list today. So that's the first thing we did is we drove basically to Arkansas, got to the Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma tri-point state marker, which is one of the ones you showed there, Mental, with the white marker. Grab a picture. It's raining. Keep going. We go up to the Kansas, the same one, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. Get that one. Great. From there, that's three. I'm standing in Oklahoma, Arkansas to the right. Missouri
That's close to the Safe Racer warehouse.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, who knew?
Yep.
It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. So
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
right at the edge of the state. So we went through places, especially with the car not really looking at the car. There is a small concern of like, well, we are in a place that we are unsupported. We have
Yep.
no tools. We don't know anybody in this location at
Except
all.
the guy we just picked the car up from. That's
And
the
we're
closest.
driving, and now we're realizing we at least have a wheel bearing going. So cool. So yes, so little small concerns on this, and we still have about 5 hours to drive. So yes,
that night.
I was gonna
Right.
say,
So,
yeah, 'cause,
that
you know,
day.
I did that drive in a Land Rover. I
Yes,
bought
you
from
did.
Some guy. So yeah. I
No,
couldn't
yeah,
do-
five,
I couldn't do it in
4
like
hours
6
left to
hours,
go
yeah.
that day. Yes.
So we made those stops. Think the car seems, it's not, nothing's getting worse. Everything else works. Seems fine.
We stopped for tacos at an amazing place.
Yeah. One of our things this trip was no chains except gas and groceries because you really can't avoid those. So,
And we didn't want to
were very
limit
successful.
ourselves. So to
Yeah.
not having a chain for gas, right? Like if we need gas, we started to choose on expense, how expensive it was. So yes, but we stayed and we were successful on the whole thing. We did not stop anywhere. That's not true. I stopped at a Sheetz to go to the bathroom, but I didn't buy anything when I was in there. So
Okay,
yes.
but gas, groceries, and bathrooms.
Sure. Yep. And we did not
Yep.
eat and did not stay at anything that was a chain.
So first night we drove up to, on the way after we did all the states and checked those off the box, we went to Harbor Freight that was on the way
Hold.
because
We went to Route 66.
that's true. We did go to Route 66
Only
briefly.
because he just showed that picture.
Yep.
Yes, we had a
stopped
plan.
at Route 66 in Joplin. We drove a short amount of Route 66, knowing that is not the good part of Route 66, but
No, the good part's all out west.
right, exactly. So, but we still
We did
on
it.
Route 66, got a picture in front of a mural over the Route 66. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Okay. Check the box. Then we go to Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, because unknown car, zero tools. So of course that $30 multi-piece crappy tool set from Harbor Freight. Yep. Got
Pretty
that.
sure you advertised that. Zip
yeah.
ties, duct tape, gloves.
A breaker bar and a 32 millimeter socket, which we had looked up as the size of the axle nut. So I wanted to check to make sure, depending on how bad that bearing was going, could it get tighter or not? We wanted to have the tool in there instead.
Of course, this is a press and bearing, which is the other thing that we Googled on the way, just to make sure, because I was like, we were going to a place that had a driveway. And I was like, there's no way we can do this roadside, right? Just make sure. Like, yeah, no,
especially
I know.
now having
I know.
done it here at home.
Right?
No, absolutely not.
Sure. Had to ask.
So that night we went to a Airbnb we got at Lake of the Ozarks, kind of up on the northern side of the lake. It was on the water.
But we went and got food too. We got groceries because
Yeah.
we were going to stay there for 2 days. So yes.
Sure. In the pouring rain as we drive through the middle of nowhere, absolutely downpouring. Wipers work great. And so we had a nice time at Lake of the Ozarks. I had previously mailed to us a new touchscreen CarPlay stereo and all the accessories. So we proceeded to spend our next day. We had 2 nights at Lake of the Ozarks. We cleaned the car up with cleaning wipes and vacuumed it out and
Made it so that it was our dirt, not other
Right.
people's.
Right. Put the new stereo all in it, got that all wired up and set and worked great. And gave the car a once over, make sure there's nothing terribly wrong. There wasn't.
With no
Wheel
jack,
bearing-
but like, shake kind of
Wheel
once over.
bearing didn't take any torque. That was fine. Had a nice top-down drive around the lake and enjoyed the hot tub at the Airbnb and made a nice dinner and all that stuff. So we enjoyed our time there.
The only relaxing day we had with minimal
Yeah.
driving.
Next day, we take off early in the morning, head out northeast into Missouri, again, run along the Missouri River, again, trying to avoid the interstate at this point too. Make it to St. Louis and go up in the Arch. And the best time to visit the Arch National Park there in St. Louis is on a Monday morning in December when it's cold. There was no one there. It was great. We did not wait in a single line for anything. Every other time we walked up to something, people were waiting for us. So that was
Actually,
great,
there
but
should be pictures on the next day because I was posting daily on Facebook. So
All I have is the pictures of the Porsche, at least on our E1R page, and I didn't see anything on yours. There's
probably in yours, honey.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
anyway, I'll keep talking. Chrissy, you can find it and share your screen too.
I
There's
will.
always that. So we went to the Arch. If you have not been, I say I was pleasantly surprised. It was an interesting time, and going to the top is a great view, especially if you go all the way to the window and look down, and you can actually then see straight down to the
That's
ground from there.
awesome.
That was a fun view.
This was one of
Yeah.
those things where Chris is like, we're going to go there. And I was like, nah, okay, sure, we'll go there. I'm like, this was awesome.
Yeah, it was neat. Then we took off from there and booked it interstate. This is, lunchtime-ish across Illinois and Indiana, because there's nothing to see there at all in that part of Illinois and Indiana, across the southern part of them. Nothing.
So much corn.
Oh, this is all, it's all in mine.
So
Hold,
booked it through there.
Hold, can you hold?
Okay. I'm just trying to tell the story here.
Yeah, but anybody that can't see what's going on, they're going to be like, this is a dumb show.
It's a podcast. Most of them aren't going to see
I
what's going on as I
know,
wait for you.
but
So
Here.
while Chrissy's
But
pulling up these
there- look,
pictures,
there
it's a
you go,
lovely
right?
silver.
there's from
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
us
there
on
you
the
go.
arch. There, right?
Yes.
There's us on the arch. There's the view from the arch. I know this is not this is the cool shot. This is looking down
wow,
from the arch because
yeah.
we went up into the arch. I know it should be sideways, but yeah, it was super cool. And it was great on Monday because there was nobody there. Yes, it was pretty awesome. So also, side note, I decided early on that we were going to do, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the flat Stanley type. Oh yeah, you are, because you have Gabby the goat. So go wherever you're going to go, take a picture with your thing. So the car is the flat Stanley Gabby the goat
The
type.
flat six Stanley. I love it.
Yes.
Yes, right. Oh, I did not think of that, but that's amazing. So basically, I insisted on taking pictures with the car wherever we went. So that's where we ended up.
So for those stuck listening to us, it is what color silver is that?
Arctic, I think.
Okay, Arctic
it's the silver that most Porsches are.
Yeah,
that
most
era. It's not
especially
an exciting
that
color.
era of Boxster. No, which is actually better because law enforcement tends not to notice that one. I believe mine was the same color, just in way crappier condition.
Yeah, this one, it's not perfect. There's, a couple of little scratches here and there. Someone definitely closed the frunk on something that was too big to be in the
was
frunk.
one of the
and there's a little dent from the inside and the front.
One of the first things he showed us when we went to
Yeah.
look in the front, and he was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we saw that."
And the interior, some of the interior plastics that they put that like soft touch paint on a lot of them, and that just all gets scraped. And like they all look like that, but like nothing's broken. Everything works. The windows work. The top works. HVAC works. Like everything works. Stereo's good. It's got the aftermarket. It's got the extra speakers behind the seats too. So it's got like 10
great.
speakers in it. It's got the
I love
Windblocker.
that you upgraded the stereo sight unseen, but only bought minimum tools to get you home. That's
Yeah.
priority. You've
Well,
got to be able to
CarPlay
listen
on
to
a-
the
CarPlay
delicious
on a road
dish.
trip?
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to.
CarPlay
we
on
were
a
like,
road trip
"That's
is extra.
miserable." Like we could. And actually, it had one before we got in, but we didn't know that before we got it. So we decided
it had an
aux
aux
plug.
that would go into the back of the stock Porsche stereo, but whatever. We couldn't do that kind of trip without podcasts and audiobooks and no. So
It's too long. Too many
Um,
miles on the highway.
it is. So that night we ended up in Bardstown, Kentucky, which is a lovely picturesque little town. And knowing that the next day we were going to hit a couple spots on the Bourbon Trail. Again, something we've never done. Don't really know anything about bourbon. Had a few, so okay, this is all right. But we stayed in an old inn in Bardstown and had a bourbon flight for dinner and some, like
What's a
Southern
bourbon flight?
food. We had shrimp and grits and hot brown for dinner.
Oh,
we were
shrimp and grits. That's
They
we're
were
doing as
so
Kentucky as we can.
good. And this is before we're really have any clue about drinking bourbon. There's now the internet knows. I don't usually just drink bourbon. People just love it. And I'm like, but I didn't realize when you drink the first drink, what did it call, the Kentucky Hug? That it's just, I was like, this burns and is bad. And I'm just like, stop. So that's what my initial thought. But yeah, so, okay, that's next. Oh, that's going right. Go ahead. Keep going.
So then we did a couple spots on the bourbon trail the next morning. We went to Woodford Reserve and had a tasting of the 5 different bourbon, or not all bourbons, the 5 different whiskeys that they make, including little food tasters that go with them for sampling. Because when you're drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, it's better if you're having little snacks with it, right?
Well, and I've just learned this, that Bardstown, Kentucky is Kentucky's most beautiful small town and considered the bourbon capital of the world.
Yeah,
we knew that.
Why we stopped there.
That's partially why we went there.
We had to go generally in this area, and I said, "What is different? What have we never done?" And we said, Bourbon Trail, great. So Woodford Reserve was very nice, and then from there we drove on a couple picturesque roads that Lemon's lunatic and caravan enthusiast Zach suggested we take just to see the Kentucky countryside. And we went to Buffalo Trace Distillery and did some tastings there and looked around and bought a few things again and said, all right.
And that's when I was like, I love rye. I am a rye fan. Pour me a rye. Who am I? I'm serious.
That night, we enjoyed some rye old fashions in our next hotel room.
Because that's how classy we are.
Yeah. You know, if you guys ever get back out here to Las Vegas, I'll take you to the Circa, where they do make a fantastic old fashioned. Yeah.
Excellent.
Chris liked old fashions before, but then we're now making them in our hotel room. Like normally we were just like, here's a glass of red, I'll have a rum and Coke. You're like, no, we're just going to have our rye old fashions in our, we're so classy.
Yep.
Yeah. Cause if you weren't classy, you'd just be drinking it from the plastic bottle,
Right.
It's glass. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then we took
gorgeous.
Off from
wow,
the Louisville area.
That the waterfall there.
Yeah, that's in West Virginia, where we went later that day. We took off from the Louisville area, did some interstate, and at some point we got off the interstate in West Virginia and did some little back roads to see some things, because of course we had made our own scavenger hunt for this trip.
Yes, we did.
And one of the things on it was a waterfall, and we hadn't seen any, but in West Virginia we saw about 8 of them. So we checked those all off the list nicely.
We had 19.
But this was a good picture.
We had 19 things on the list and found 10, and found a few of them. Yes.
That's fantastic.
So drove across West Virginia, some of it on back roads, back on the highway, ended up in Lexington, Virginia that evening at a nice little delicious breakfast that they made for us. Really nice place, the Abigail Inn in Lexington, Virginia. If you have never been, if you are looking for a place to stay there, we're gonna 81's a terrible road. Never had a chance to drive the Blue Ridge Parkway because usually towing. So, or like I have somewhere to be. This time, well, we've got time and we have a Porsche. So we're going to go the Blue Ridge Parkway. So here we are at the Blue Ridge Parkway. We drive up to the top, past this sign, and road closed.
Closed.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yep. Well, and if we'd done a little bit, so we drove a pretty good way to get here. And then we had to backtrack.
Turned around, back on 81, unfortunately, as Chrissy's furiously looking at maps
correct.
To find where else we can go.
Because it's all closed because of potential weather, and then they close roads in winter, assuming that there might be bad weather, and they're just fixing roads. So basically the whole Blue Ridge Parkway was closed. So if Chris had gone a little further and did that research, he would have known. But that's okay.
I did it the week before, and everything was open still. I said, "Oh, that's good."
No, it wasn't. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. So now, yes.
So
just to be clear, you guys took a great trip across our land in a wonderful car, and you're still, after drinking bourbon, sniping at each other about not planning this properly. I think you missed like the point.
No. That is not it. Chris is the best planner ever. I mean, this trip, we're not even done yet. Hold on. Okay. We made it from not Blue Ridge to 81. And then I navigated us to Skyline Drive.
So Skyline Drive is in the Shenandoah National Parks, which means you have to pay to get in the park. But I don't mind ever giving National Park Service my money to get in because I've never been disappointed in a national park. They've always been very nice, no matter
Especially since we saw many places that the road was treated, which means they have to pay the people that are fixing those roads, and all of the roads were very good. So we're paying for something.
And to a degree, you're also paying for my national parks pass because veterans get free national park passes.
Oh, we're paying for you to go.
There you go.
Great.
Sorry.
So we get on Skyline Drive and we take off up Skyline Drive, and isn't this lovely? And then the elevation goes up and up and up and up and up.
That's a great picture.
And gets colder.
Yep. And I'm watching the temperature. What had previously been 40 is now 30. Is now 25. It got to a low of 23.
There you are.
And
so this
with
is
no
a
traffic,
snow and ice covered road.
And we had
Uphill.
asked, So we had asked, since the first place we went to was closed, so we said, is everything open, just to make sure that we didn't have to turn off? And she was like, a snow squall just came through. So there's some places that are still probably uncovered and slick, but just be careful. We said, okay. And we're like, okay,
we're
so
in a Porsche. What? How bad could it be?
Some of these places are like not great, right?
You actually get decent traction in a Porsche.
It had all season tires on it. If this thing were running 200 treadwear Zenith, I would have said, nope, that's not going to happen. But it had the all season Michelin. I'm pretty good at driving in the snow. Lived in New England and Montana, so okay, we can do this.
Pennsylvania.
So, that's Pennsylvania. The snow here doesn't count. It's not really that bad. So, so we drove Skyline Drive, and quite a lot of it on snow-covered roads in a Porsche, and no problem. Chrissy had a stroke practically, but
I did not.
Fine.
I was stressed. I did not freak out so much, but the other thing is like, this is day 5, 6, right? So day 5, and we're pretty close to home. So this is our stretch home. So I'm like, do not do anything stupid, and take it, like, be drifting up these side roads, because I just want to go home.
So
I'm like,
I was going to ask how long until you turn the traction control off.
No.
Oh, this doesn't have traction control. This one.
Boom, nailed it.
No.
ABS though.
Nope. I was like,
I had to do a couple traction tests, check the brakes, check the gas, because you need to know how much traction you have. It's actually important to do. But once I had done the traction tests to understand what I was dealing with, then we were fine. We're okay. It made it. Like, it never really hiccuped on us. It was surprisingly good. I guess it's the point of having the engine over the drive wheels. It helps get you through. So, we made it the entire way through Skyline Drive, and then got on the highway and drove home. Made it home late afternoon and did laundry, unpacked, said, "That'll do, Porsche. That'll do."
As I understand it, that's now the point of this is it's the winter beater.
Yeah, well, it's an extra beater car to have around, because I'm still going to drive. We're still going to drive the Escalade and the Mercedes a lot, but when it's a nice winter, right? Heated steering wheel. Come on,
steering wheel. That was awesome today.
Right. On a nice stuff day, we'll take the Porsche, but it's even the summertime. We can both take convertibles. Let's see how this fits in our life. But no matter what we paid for it, we're going to be able to get out of it fine. And we had an adventure, so that's good. So that wheel bearing howled all the way home.
1,500 miles.
Yep. It's out now as of about an hour and a half ago. It's out, and it is trashed. Without a doubt.
But it made it.
Also, as I took it to work the next day, and as I'm driving to work, like, the window is not it's fogging up and it's not clearing off. Is that coolant? Oh man, that's coolant. Heater core blew. It's developed a leak.
Oh no.
But we drove it, and then all of a sudden on Thursday, we got home on Wednesday.
On my way home.
Thursday, it's like, yes, that'll do, Porsche. It's just like, oh, I'm home. Oh, okay.
Good.
So the Porsche has a sense of loyalty.
It does.
Yes.
I know where to break down. Don't tell me.
So yeah, the heater core slightly blue. It wasn't like pouring out blue, but enough that the windows are fogging up and not unfogging, and you smell that unmistakable
Sickly
sense of,
sweet.
Yeah, sweet
Yes.
smell. Yeah.
right. Then also we started to notice how much oil it was leaking and leaving on the ground, and we said, we'd smelled a little oil. If we stopped, we're like, yeah, okay, fine, it's not that bad.
I was like,
Okay,
that
but
smells
now when you consider percentages, and I say this as a Porsche enthusiast, percentages, I mean, yes, it's a volume of oil that's a lot, but you've got 10 quarts of Mobil 1 in there. So,
Hey.
and
you
it
know.
wasn't, but it
Yeah,
also wasn't the
there's
volume.
5 gallons of coolant in that car to be.
Yeah.
It has 3 radiators, so 5
Gotta
gallons.
run the
of coolant.
whole length of the car.
Exactly.
It wasn't the amount, because we bought oil and checked the oil multiple times. It was just the burning of the smell every time you got out of the car. I was like, this smells terrible.
And then once we saw the puddles it was leaving after we got home, we're like, oh, okay. So that got it into the garage. And here's the current repair bill and
Laundry
status.
list.
Yeah, I've spent over $2,000 in parts in the last few days. So,
Because I was going to say, everyone's going to ask, how much was the wheel bearing with the Porsche tax?
oh, the wheel bearing was $50. That was
Boom.
cheap.
Suck it, haters.
Well, we had to get we got new suspension.
We got all kinds of new stuff. So heater core.
Did you have to get new suspension,
hoses.
Chrissy, or did you want new suspension? Okay.
All the above. Heater core and
Yes.
hoses. The right front shock was blown and leaking. The right front shock top bearing was bad and squeaking. All the brakes, the rotors were worn, had a significant lip on them, and terrible uneven transfer layer. So all time, the whole drive, it was uneven transfer layer, pedal pulsation every time you're braking, right? Which is great. So all new pads and rotors. I got the Techstar Sport pads.
Bushings?
That's
You get any
the front.
bushings?
No, all the bushings are actually fine.
Oh, okay. Because we thought
so
the
then-
squeaking was what the suspension was.
I think it's that upper strut hat thing, because that was definitely binding up. So, but I got 2 new control arms, which are the same at all 4 wheels, because I'm pretty sure one of them is going to need a ball joint at some point. Wheel bearings, I got one for the back that we knew was bad. I'm probably going to do the other side back, because if one side went,
Probably.
the other side probably will too. So I'm going to do that one. But when the right front shock is blown, well, the other ones I'll have 100,000 miles on. Car has 97,000 miles total. Had 95 when we picked it up. I'm not just going to put a used shock on. So Konies are on the way. Actually, 2 of them are actually here. Koni FSDs, same ones are going on the Mazda. Those are here.
Are they still talking to you? Because,
Apparently.
previously, how many of these things have we rebuilt?
I think they were in my name, so I don't know
That's
that they've
true.
made the
They were.
connection to your
Yeah.
name. They ship them to the same place, but I think that I bought the first set, so I don't know that they know that we are
Yep.
connected.
We
so
are warranty enthusiasts at Koni.
yes, I
Lifetime
am
warranty,
such
thank
a
you.
warranty enthusiast. Heck yeah.
The big problem though is I've been tracing oil leaks all weekend. They have been a few, and
Clean.
cleaning, thoroughly cleaning, running, cleaning. I've narrowed it down to,
And it's so
unfortunately,
easy to get in that car. Engine access is just a breeze. It's
Yeah.
practically a 74 Chevy.
Yeah. So
It's
the
not.
top, yep, getting access to the top of the engine, fun. Also more fun because ours had an aftermarket top with a glass window, which is a nice upgrade for when you're normally driving it than the plastic one, but makes it a lot harder to get the top into service position, because that top won't go all the way up the back there because the window's in the way. But like the front panel's off, all the panels are off, everything's off at this point. It's all open.
So when you say that we could, it can run.
Well, the hard part now is I have to take the
Honestly, it just
transmission.
sounds like every Porsche I've ever
Ouch.
owned. I
mean, sure.
Yeah, the
That's
transmission
why I
has to come
expected you
out,
to raise your hand.
'cause the
Sorry.
rear main
the starter
seal
is out in the 914, so I'll be honest on that one. So.
let's see. The rear,
But
the
it'll
rear main
run.
seal is leaking, even though the guy had it right in front of him when he put this motor in. He replaced the IMS, which is 6 inches away. He didn't do the rear main seal. And I've been talking back and forth with him a bunch. He's just a nice guy. And he's actually refunded us part of our purchase price because he feels bad that I'm having to pull the transmission on this when he was sitting there right in front of it and didn't do it. And he felt bad.
He
So
does
that
sound
was
like a
nice.
terrifically nice human
He
being.
is a very nice guy.
He also let us
so-
borrow his plate the whole time, because getting plates from Oklahoma to our house, they're like, they don't have temp tags. They just have run a plate or not. And we were like,
Yeah.
cool. So we're going to drive a car that was not titled in our name across 10 states and with no tag. no
That's
fail on
actually
that plan.
that's Oklahoma's actual legal answer to it. If they don't give for private sales, no temp plates. They say
Yeah.
just drive without a plate, and if you get pulled over, just show them the paperwork. But we don't know how this police in states like Virginia, because they usually have a great sense of
They're
humor.
gonna they would
Virginia, you're
arrest
being
us.
arrested.
Absolutely. So that's why we were like, we're not even playing this game. Yes.
So he already has his plate back.
Yep.
So the car currently is up on the lift. It has no suspension pretty much at all, no brakes pretty much at all. The left rear carrier's out, the bearings off, all the shocks are off, all the calipers are off, all the rotors are off. There's no coolant in most of it. Most of every access panel is off right now. Parts are on the way. Yay. It'll be really nice when we're done.
So, okay, with the wheel bearing and the blown shock, I am interested in your opinion, Chris, of the car. What'd you think of the car? But I really am interested in Chrissy's opinion, because I feel like yours is going to be tainted by the NSX.
Well, so is hers. But Chrissy, your opinion first.
She's more objective.
Yeah. I've driven both. The Porsche is going to be fun. It'll be nice. I am excited to drive it. It is not as fast as most of the cars that we have, because I feel like at least one person from work was like, "Well, how fast did you get it this morning?" And I was like, "Well, knowing that the wheel bearing is bad, I'm like, 75 was great." So like 80 maybe. So it will be great when it's done. I feel like I didn't push it. We didn't have an opportunity to push it, but I did a bunch of highway miles. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. The one thing that the adjective that Chris forgot when he said they have pretty nice seats. These seats are not comfortable. They look pretty. They are.
You have a picture of them because they look
very
like
supportive.
Sport buckets.
I'll pull it up.
Not Porsche sport buckets, but like something I would throw in a crappy car.
No,
yeah,
so something.
Yes,
I'll find them.
They're very nice. Except that like halfway through, I was like, when we stop at the store, I think I need some foam, because I was like, it's a little uncomfortable. So if you want to look cool, if you want, and I'm also not in love with the silver. Sure, if we're going to break rules, then hopefully people won't catch us. It's not as shouty as the red one. But yeah, I like it.
Oh yeah, okay, those are nice.
They're this.
Oh yes, with the proper tartan,
the plaid, like they're the
tartan.
Yes,
gray and black. Plaid.
They're very supportive. Like they have great shoulder and bolster support, like really nice.
When we're going around corners, it's great.
Yeah, but the side bolsters by your leg are just a little too tight for us, and like it's tough for your leg to be there for a long time with the gas, for example. So cruise control is kind of necessary, which is a good thing this car has that option. But they were installed properly, like someone who would put them in.
They're on sliders.
They're on sliders. They're on well-made brackets that it's all bolted in, and they're very low to the floor, like scraping the floor low. So whoever put them in did a proper job on putting them in. They're not all day comfortable, like our other daily drivers.
No, I imagine they're probably even track day comfortable.
Well, and it wasn't. Yes, and
totally.
to work, it's fine. I mean, that's why my feelings are tainted by spending 1,500 miles in 6 days in a car. We have learned every squeak. We've learned which
aren't many actually. I mean, it's not as tight as a drum. It's an old convertible. Like it doesn't have the structural rigidity of the Mercedes. Okay.
Oh, I 1,500 miles. I feel like that's not tainted. That's honest, because you're either gonna love it by the end of that trip, or you are going to hate it.
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it more once all of these things are fixed, and then I can drive it and feel like I never drove it and took tight turns and got into it. Like I wanted to get home, so I was
we didn't push it because long way from home.
Yeah. I actually have fallen deeper in love with the Miata after driving it to Denver and then driving it to Sonoma 2 weeks ago.
Okay, here's my opinion. There's a reason the NSX is worth 10 times what we paid for the Boxster. It's very clear and very obvious. There's also I'm amazed at how overpriced this car was when new. like astoundingly overpriced. With adjusted for inflation, this car was $95,000 when it was new. And that's amazing because the interior on it, the quality of the interior is about on par with an NB Miata. And the material quality and design and stuff, it's not good. Switchgear is terrible, like awful quality switchgear. My '89 Civic had better quality switchgear than this thing does. It's bad. The steering is good but not great. That's tainted by the NSX. Shifter's rubbery, even though it is tight, it's still just kind of rubbery and kind of a long throw. That's absolutely tainted by the NSX and Miatas. But like the shifter's not even better than the Mazda. Like the Mazda 3 doesn't have a great shifter. This isn't any better than that. Car sounds good. The balance on it is extraordinary. It feels lovely. Like it's very nicely weighted. It moves nicely, even with that blown right front shock. The ride harshness versus sportiness ratio is about right on, and I'm hoping the Coneys will make that better. It was a nice enough highway cruiser, even though that wheel bearing was howling right behind my head the whole time. And I had fortunately the cruise control was there, could use that. Stereo's good.
Now
it's slightly too small for me. If the seat could go back another inch, that'd be great, but it doesn't. Had adequate headroom. Okay storage because it's got those giant door pockets
which we put everything in. Right? Yes, that was the only
no glove box.
Right.
That having a trunk and a frunk is wonderful for actual luggage storage because we put our 2 bags in the trunk and all the other stuff like our tools and food and booze that we bought at the Bourbon Trail and all that stuff was
just became like our catch-all. Was just like throw it all in the front.
Ample room
and
to spare. So
and it was great. We brought since we didn't bring a cooler with us, we brought a insulated bag that you kind of like get a like frozen thing from mail order kind of thing, right? So it filled up really nicely, and we put drinks in it. We put ice from the hotel in a Ziploc bag, put that in there, and we ended up. And when you keep it in the front, it's nice and cold, so it kept everything actually colder when you kept stuff in the front. So that was good.
And the radiators are off to the side on these. They're not directly in the middle. So there's not even hot radiator air blowing at us. So it's great for keeping things cold. Another frunk plus.
Surprised. So totally surprised at how good that was. How good the outside storage. Much better than I planned.
Cool.
And there's a little, what I call the hidey hole behind the seats. There's a little like a map box that we kept phones and iPad and could shove jackets behind. You have to get crafty with the interior storage space. Like the one time when we first got in there, I had some trash in my footwell because we ate while we were driving. And I was like, we need to find a trash can because I can't put my legs straight because the trash is like, you can't afford to keep stuff in a place that doesn't have a home because then you can't move.
2-seater.
Yep.
Proper. Well, that sounds like an excellent purchase. I look forward to seeing it hopefully sometime in 2024.
It'll be a fun beat around Porsche that things will be nice. Like I'm feeling comfortable with that. And that's what we wanted. We wanted a car that's not the diva that the NSX is, just because kind of we make it that way. The NSX will do whatever we want, but it's, it's a very nice car.
But you can park this one in a regular spot. And you don't want it scratched, but you're not going to freak out if you do. And people don't like cut you off in traffic to get a picture of it. And
all of the things. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we made it home.
Once I get it fixed, that'll be nice, but it's taking all my time right now. And
all right. So send your hate mail and jealousy to all of us on all of our social medias. But I think it's a great purchase. I loved my Boxster. I enjoyed it. And I do occasionally find myself eyeballing cheap ones here.
I will tell you that because I had them next to each other in the garage, the Civic and the Boxster, the K24 would fit in that engine bay.
I like where this is going. Excellent.
I'm not interested in doing that.
All right. Coming in 2029.
That's a valuable
puts 270,000 miles on the Boxster.
Valuable listener consumer advice. A K24 should fit. Overall length is about a half inch shorter than the M96. So,
all right. Shall we move on with the rest of our show? I know that we're
Yes.
going to abbreviate the main topic because that was a much more interesting topic. I'm glad you guys had an adventure, and we'll have our New Year's goals episode very, very shortly, but you guys should all resolve
Will we?
to have an adventure.
Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah,
December.
It's like mid-December.
Wow. Okay. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right.
Is it awesome?
Hey, do you like the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix?
Yes.
Of course you do. Exactly. What's not to like? It's your favorite podcast host. It's classic race cars screaming down narrow street circuits. It's car clubs spread for acres and vendors. And now, literally just today, the 2024 Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, quote, is thrilled to announce the inaugural appearance of the whimsical and irreverent Concours de Le Mans at the Historics at Pitts race events taking place from 25 to 28 July 2024 at the Pittsburgh International Race Complex, or as we call it, Pitts Race. That is the week before the actual one in Schenectady Park, but participants and spectators alike can look forward to a day filled with laughter, creativity, and a celebration of the quirkiest vehicles on Saturday, July 27th, while also enjoying the racing on the track and the 2024 Ford GT40 reunion near the Concours de Le Mans show field on their way up Spectator Hill. Link, of course, is in our show notes.
I'm pretty sure you're the only person that calls it Pitts race. Just saying.
I
Especially
say pit race. I just do pits race like Nelson's Ledges to annoy a very narrow demographic. Of
Oh,
our
okay.
listeners.
It's working. So that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that that was true. Okay. If you're a Top Gear fan, you might recall Clarkson ruminating about the rally car rivalry between Audi and Lancia. It is now the subject of the soon-to-be-released feature-length film starring, among others, Daniel Brühl of Inglourious Basterds fame. Nico D'Amata at the Drive tells us Michael Mann's Ferrari isn't the only movie about special moments in the automotive history in the pipeline. A new movie titled Race for Glory tells one of the greatest racing stories of all time, the one of Lancia's battle against Audi for a World Rally Championship in 1983. Links to that article, as well as the trailer for YouTube for Race for Glory, is in our show notes.
Last show, we mentioned that most OEMs are looking to be electric by 2032, but there might be some relief ahead. Ford is cutting the production for the electric F-150 Lightning in half due to a lack of demand. And it's amazing considering how long those were selling for over sticker. So, Anyway, last week, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Anti-EPA CARS Act. Stephen Cole Smith at Haggerty walks us through the oddly named bill that actually means what it says. While everyone agrees less emissions are a good thing, the bill, among other things, quote, prevents future EPA emissions regulations that would mandate certain technologies or limit the availability of vehicles based on engine type, end quote. So if passed into law, the Bipartisan CARS Act would prohibit the EPA from finalizing the proposed federal emissions standards for light and medium duty vehicles for 2027 to 2032. Okay.
Okay. Great. Did you find something on Racing Junk, though?
Oh, totally. It's right there under the sponsor section.
Which says, you know what? Racing season is done. And we know that now is the time you're going to start shopping for that winter project. Hey, we already did. And it wasn't looking for a project, but I got one. Yep. So why not do that? Why not do that shopping on Racing Junk? Just typing project into their search engine yields everything from a 6-door Suburban to this dang old F-body Camaro. Mentally misspelled it. There's an E in Camaro. A short description. Originally an AS at Camaro, I've used it to test a V6. 305 and matching exhaust go with it. 8 wheels, spare rebuilt T5 trans. Lots of pictures, but it is clean. I want to hear more about the V6 he put in it. Like,
yeah.
Was it a
4-barrel on that thing too.
3.1 or is it a 4.3 or is it
there it is.
More modern?
That looks Vortec-ish to me.
Looks like 4.3, which would make sense. That'll just bolt right in pretty much.
Yeah.
No problem.
And it's probably at least as good as a 305. Yeah. I mean, come on.
But nice, clean. Yeah. Build that 4.8 liter truck motor on there, and bam, you have got yourself a fun little car for a winter project. And
Wow.
while you're there, you should go ahead and just do that code pod 23, get that Racing Junk membership really, really cheap. And then you can go through there, get the ads. I initially I typed in project into Racing Junk and it said log in to get the 88 other ads under your membership. And I totally did. You get all the photographs, find out who's watching it, just all kinds of great stuff that comes with a Racing Junk membership. It's less than a flight of bourbon.
Right? You're
Yeah.
not wrong, actually. Okay. What is next? Upcoming races.
No, there are none.
Right.
End of the year, Champ Car's doing their annual New Year's Eve race down at Sebring. But yeah, we'll go
Racer
to
results are more fun.
Okay. I was at Lemon Sonoma 2 weeks ago. Your overall winner, and it was a hard fought battle, was Cerveza, and they were back in their 83 BMW 533 car. I think it had like, I want to say 17th fastest lap. They just do what Cerveza does, which is run clean, lightning quick pit stops, and just keep the car out there. Now, our winner was Class B. That was hit and run racing. It was 23 and a 91 Mazda Miata, quote, one super duper 92 HP stock Miata Santa Cruz. We had it in front of the trophies when we announced on that. You could squish that car and it would keep going.
No.
This was not a cheaty Miata at all. And Class C was wet and reckless in a 2003 Honda Civic. And that came down darn near to the last 10 minutes. So they were fighting out that battle C.
That's fun.
Yes. Organizer's choice was the Pit Crew Revenge Racing. Chris Overzet and his crew in Buttercup, the 75 Lincoln, which could have carried 4 of those Miatas on it. Your heroic fix was not a Miata and a 2002 Mini Cooper. Now this was it was a crew out of, oh God bless it, the name, but it's a college automotive program there just outside of Sacramento. Renee Lamb of Hulk Smash Racing had gone to talk to them because she works in the industry. And then she mentioned that she does this series. She's also a NASA instructor. And like 10 of the kids came up to her after her presentation and said, tell us more about this Lemons thing. So when their car got wrecked and they were trying to fix it out, they fixed another veteran team's car twice, got them motivated, then fixed another newbies team car, welding that all up. They fixed 3 people's cars. So that's heroic fix because there was 15 of these kids. They were so enthusiastic. They passed tech on their first try. John Pagel verbalized that he was really impressed with these guys, how good their cage was on that one. So great crew. Judge's choice there. Yeah. Judge's choice was the Ricers, spelled with a 3 backwards and a 5 for an S, because they totally got the joke, and a 2005 Infiniti G35 sedan. That was one of the cars that the other team fixed. Bunch of nice kids there with a lot of car. And they had a cardboard wing and a cardboard spoiler, and they left as much cardboard on as they could before they went onto the track. Screwed was Mile High Pistons and a 2002 Chrysler PT Cruiser. They blew their head gasket. They knew nothing about cars, indicative of their choice of racing vehicle. They blew their head gasket, decided to change it out. They stayed up all Saturday night looking at YouTube videos, opening the Haynes guide, got everything on there, got it all bolted back together, took the green flag on Sunday morning, didn't even make it a lap because they had no idea what they were doing. Such good kids. They hung out for a while. Our regional was the, as we call it, the annual Petaluma Hippie Car Pulling Fest, aka Bingo Bongo Crasho. That was Ranger Road and that hand-controlled Volkswagen, which seems like it gets put into a wall every time it's Sonoma. And they did the old trick of the F-250 and the ratchet straps and pull it and straighten it. And while they were beating the car into submission, one of the contestants literally came by, heard the rhythm of the hammers, sat down with his bongos and started playing a beat to it. And it was probably 10 minutes for one of the guys even noticed it. It was this rhythmic bongo smashy thing on that one. And Halloween Meets Gasoline was Foot Wedge Racing, the other car that the college kids fixed, a Volkswagen Golf out of Chico, California. They had a wonderful Krampus theme, which we found was quite good at keeping feral children out of the penalty box where they kept trying to take our candy canes. And your IOE, if you didn't see the pictures on our Facebook on this was brilliant. Bernal Dad's Racing showed up in a 2001 Dodge Ram van, dodgy van. They did it all. They had it lowered on the black Steelies looking like the Watabis. They did the black hood. They had the stickers. It was one of them even went to Japan to meet the guy that started the dodgy van craze. It was fantastic. They said, we are here. We built this car for one reason, and they ran it clean. And he doesn't listen anyway, but there was, Randy was there, and Randy had mentioned he wanted to drive it. And I think they kind of didn't want Randy to drive it because they wanted it to last all weekend because they wanted the IOE.
Oh, good.
On that one. So that was
choice, folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Randy did drive everybody else's car, and he set all kinds of new lap records, and he was just there being friendly and happy and, being pleasant Randy that he is. But that dodgy van I even took a pictures of it and sent it to Sam Smith, and he said that it was amazing. So
I'm so glad someone finally did that. That's great.
Yes. and if you're thinking about doing a dodgy van, you're not going to outdo the Bernal Dads. They crushed it.
That doesn't mean don't do one.
Do one, but
more is good.
Yes. We could have a whole class D for dodgy van would be fantastic.
Yes, it would.
Okay. We're moving on. Lemons was at Road Atlanta this weekend. So winner on laps was Loose Lugnut Racing in their 2003 Nissan Maxima. You know anything about that?
Yeah, they're Nissan nerds, and they know how to make that. It's quick, but it's not super fast. It's the same thing as Cerveza. They just know how to keep the car on the track.
Wow, good for them.
Didn't hurt that it poured rain most of the weekend.
Yes, yes, it did.
What? Wait, no, it Road Atlanta? No.
Well, it didn't snow.
Never rains or snows.
It didn't snow, and there was no ice. I didn't hear about ice, but maybe there was. But it definitely rained. Okay, winner B class was Red Balls Racing in a 2008 Saab 9.3. Class C went to Cheap Thrills. Cheap Thrills in a 2001 Cadillac Eldorado.
About time. That car is hilarious. Yes.
A organized choice went to Senior Citizens Club of America in a 78 Datsun B210.
That's Judge Shelley's car when she did the infamous Tammy routine. That's the same car. They added some stuff on there, and she is a regional chair for the SCCA, so that's even funnier.
Is this upsetting you, Chris? Okay. eBay Heroic Fix went to the B team, BEE, in a 2002 Volkswagen New Beetle. Judge's Choice went to Rigs and Horses in a 98 Lincoln Town Car.
Well done. 98 Lincoln Town Car. Holy crap.
The Yokohama Roadmaker Cup went to the Low Speed High Drag in a 09 Focus. Can you hear him?
Nope. I think Chris's microphone is disconnected again.
Nope. Still can't hear you.
All right. So I got screwed. Went to Hawley with a WH Shift Racing and a Subaru Legacy Outback. The Singularity Award went to Pocket Dogs in a 92 Thunderbird. They're out of Birmingham. The Scrodium Trophy, always double nut, in a 2003 Ford Focus. And the Spirit of Scrodium, I love that, was the Mogan David in a 2002 VW Golf. That is actually Vince, one of the teammates on the Inglorious Bastard who helped the Heroic Fix team because he's a Volkswagen nut.
Okay.
And the first ever 3-time winner of Halloween Meets Gasoline. They are undefeated. Any race that they've entered. Loose Nuts Racing in that 2000 Chevy Camaro. They have won their Halloween Meets Gasoline.
Hard.
If they bring 10 people and they commit all weekend. They were out here on the West Coast and they moved to Tennessee. So yeah. They do love themselves some Halloween Meets Gasoline, and they are fun. And finally, the IOE was Gene Cole Jar in a 95 Lincoln Town Car. There were 2 town cars in that race.
That's a good number of town cars.
So wonderful. Let's see. I actually did bring up the national records. And
I don't know that we care. We didn't win,
All right.
so I don't.
I am
really
going to
care.
say congratulations to Breaking Bad Racing because they do
Sure.
listen, and they're fun people on that one.
Sure.
And I think Neil.
Congratulations.
Neil got a double driver's award on that one.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good. So let's
All right. I'm sorry, I have not scrolled down that far. Apex Adjacent, which you should listen to on their show, gave us a very kind thank you for our gift giving guide episode, which was the last episode. Ian said we always do a great job. And or Dave rather said we always do a good job. And Ian, I love that you think I've never let my car registration slip, because he said, oh, those guys, they always have their cars registered on time. And you know me, man. Come on. I'm not even sure my cars are all registered up to date now.
I mean, one of your trailers stolen, so
You can't prove that. You don't know that. It's
Can't
just
prove that.
I'm pretty
probably
sure
stolen.
it's probably stolen.
And it's okay because I traded it for a probably stolen trailer.
We know where that one came
That one
from.
we know where. Yeah, who was
That was not
It
Well, at least it
wasn't
has
registered or paid for.
It has an origin story that's a little bit better than yours.
No, I know. The origin story
Mine
of
is so
Metals
much
is good.
better.
Yes.
No, I mean, it is more legal. It is more. We have a better idea of where it came from,
Legal-ish.
and
Legal-ish.
legal-ish.
We know the history a couple of
And you now have a
Yeah.
moon trailer. Okay. After I let the cat out of the bag, we had just, after we just flown to get to the Boxster, we have a whole bunch of comments. DJ914, of course, was very excited. He said, congratulations.
Jake R said, who's part of E1R at Loto? And Chrissy and I said, what the hell's Loto?
What's
Lake
Loto?
of the Ozarks. Got it. I'm 19 minutes from the front gate of Ozarks International. Wish I'd found this car first. Yeah.
Jake is actually
Right.
on he's on the Maserati racing team. He lives right down the street from there. He was in town for Formula One. Good guy. It's a shame you guys were on a schedule. You would have liked
And
it.
I was happy to know about it. I was like, noted. If we break down soon, at least I have a guy who
He
might
had a
be
shop,
somewhere
too.
close.
He's got a shop and tools, the whole nine
Yes,
yards.
I know.
Yeah.
We noted, and I was like, good. Note to self.
All right. Now, of course, David Eckel mocking everyone else who does this, but the IMS Behringer.
Yep. And I knew he was making fun, but I also said, we know, already been done. And then he's like, but how do you know if it's been done? And I was like, touche. We have it in the back.
Because I have the old one.
Yeah, but
Well,
it could be
sure.
it could be
Could be
any of
old
them.
one that he just stuck in the, yeah.
He had
right.
19 of them. Sure, he could have put one in a bag and said, here it
yeah.
is. And we could have said, great. I think we believe him.
I'll
but
tell you this weekend.
okay. Yeah, right. Because you'll see it. Maybe you should just change it out again.
No,
Okay.
no, they're expensive.
Okay, fine.
Matt Adair said he thinks he's on his 8th Boxster now. Such an amazingly great and underrated car. I don't know. We'll find out soon.
On Insta, I posted from Sonoma working on a new after hours penalty. It was actually the older model Super Soakers with the screw-in tops will absolutely screw in a bottle of Malort. One of the teams had done that, and they were squirting Malort in people's mouth. And I actually did that too. That's on our Instagram.
You don't learn.
Oh,
No.
I had absolutely no Malort. There was zero Malort going in me.
Oh, I thought you just said that you did it.
I squirted it into somebody.
Oh,
else.
but you
see.
didn't. You weren't
You weren't
the
the
squirtee.
Okay, you were the squirtee. No, you were the squirter.
Yes.
Got it. Legit Nigerian businessman said, I'm waiting for the tower to give you a number to call, but the number is The Hague.
For war crimes, cruelty.
Crimes. Got it.
And
Okay.
Popular Chuck said he thought it was tequila.
Yep. And then Too Much Metal said, I'm calling my congressman to ban the sale of Malort assault rifles, to which I say the framers meant for me to be able to defend myself with Malort weapons. How else are you going to keep the government in check? How dare you, sir?
It is an
Yep.
assault, that's for sure.
Oh.
And
To your
I
mouth.
think we still have a link of Chrissy and I drinking Malort.
Oh,
and-
I'm pretty
and
sure we do.
Detroit. It's you love it or you hate it, and I think we both.
Who loves it? Do people love it?
They keep buying a bunch.
No, they just
Yeah.
meh. It was so bad. I could not feel my mouth from here.
And
Ew,
I
it
had
was
actually,
so bad.
I'd had a friend in Chicago, Dr. Race Car. You guys know Brandon there in Chicago, and he drove into the city to get me the Thanksgiving
Oh, I
recipe
saw
Malort,
that. Yeah.
which then was
Cherry,
shattered in transport.
Oh,
Yes.
was
Oh,
it? That's
yes,
a
absolutely.
shame.
I know, and smelled every bit as bad as you think it
Oh,
does.
but was it? It wasn't pumpkin, was it? It
No, it
was
was like literally it's
cranberry.
like cranberry
I think
and
it was
Thanksgiving.
cranberry. Yeah, I remember you
Yes.
seeing that. You were like, "Please get me one of these," and I was like, "You were ugh,
Well, I
what?
wanted to take it to Sonoma, but yeah, so
Way to like
Oh.
literally like lick the pavement." Like
I'm disappointed it wasn't pumpkin spice Asoline, which is
it was not. It was cranberry acetylene, which is still pretty bad. It smells bad.
Oh, so we do still have a little bit of time. We can run through this main topic. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Well, and we'll link to the article, but it was a what car or accessories makes you lose respect for the driver? I do we put a trigger warning in this? I don't care. And I'm sure you've got some you want to throw in there too, but we're as judgmental as the rest of you.
Mhm,
mean,
pretty
we
much.
want
you
you-
especially.
No, absolutely. Yes. We want you to come out racing, but they're just things that we're going to make fun of. And I'll just throw this out right now. And I don't think I'm going to get a single bit of disagreement. Our friend Lish actually had her car destroyed in front of Matt's house recently, and she had a rental. And on the rental, Matt made sure she posed for this picture, the yellow spoiler guards on the end of the
Charger?
Dodges. Oh, yes. Oh, God. And now I think that anytime I see them, it's either a rental or they're intentionally doing it ironically. And maybe that's a positive reflection of people that I hang out with. But if I see yellow spoiler guards, for the longest time, it was just, you're an idiot.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because the dealer didn't originally. It was because the dealer didn't PDI them correctly and take them off. That's what it was.
Yes.
Oh, that's really dumb looking.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were talking about here, but
And
I saw someone duct tape a banana to their spoiler as an alternative to that.
that's hilarious though. See, they
That's
get
funny.
it and they think that's okay.
and another one, it's been around for just way too damn long, but every time I see them here in Las Vegas, truck nuts, literally the testicles hanging off the trailer hitch of a brodozer. I don't see them very often anymore, but the times that I've seen them, it's always a girl driving. And I think they do that on purpose. And I find it ironic, especially if they're blue.
I once saw a truck that had a chain hanging off the hitch with two really large hex nuts on it instead. And I gave them credit. I was like, all right,
That's funny. Yeah.
that's funny. Good for you. You've got actual nuts there. Yeah, good. Good for you. All right, here's one that always gets me. German cars being falsely up badged, whether it's
Oh,
AMG
But
badges.
does it have to be? Is it always Mercedes? Is it always Mercedes? Is it always
No, it's BMWs.
Yeah.
okay?
Mercedes
an
and
M-
BMWs are the greatest offenders I see
M318i.
here.
Right.
Right?
Like,
Yes.
well,
yeah.
where'd you get that M525?
slapping and
Yeah.
I can buy it.
Yeah. You do not have an S320 AMG. No.
Or I've seen cars that are clearly mislabeled. There's a car we used to see regularly at the shore that was a base model C300, totally a base model C class. The badge on the back said CLS 300. Yeah.
Oh,
Just the other day, I also saw a Pontiac G6 with Cadillac badges on it. Definitely in place of the Pontiac ones. And the grill, someone had cut open the grill so it didn't have the Pontiac Spark in the middle. And yeah, they tried to make their
That's not a
G6
thing.
into a Cadillac. Yep, I
No.
know. And
there's
one time,
meth involved.
You can't do that.
I know. And one time, years and years ago, I saw again, this is years ago, a 98-ish Ford Explorer that had a white like pearlescent paint job done, but with like bass boat pearlescent in it.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, I love that.
And that had Escalade badges on it, Cadillac Escalade badges on this Explorer, but they put Escalade EXT badges on it, which is the truck version, the pickup truck version. So if you're going to
You are
false badge your
so
Explorer, at least put the right one. They probably got that one. So that's got letters. That's more. That's got to be better
so many letters
when you're
Now-
false badging your car.
I'm going to
Wow.
throw this. I'll throw this out there because we've all judged. We're all probably going to judge in 2024. If you have no idea what to do for a theme, go to the junkyard, get the badges off the most absolutely opposite version of your car, tape them on there, and then try to convince us that it is that thing. That's there you go. That's a cheap thing.
Brome badges and opera
Brome
lights
badges
are always
good.
a good idea.
Yeah, totally.
Always.
I have only seen this in Las Vegas. I have traveled a lot and I don't see it anywhere else. So maybe it's just literally a small community. And I have noticed it among people that English is not their first language, but everyone gets the TRD badges, the Toyota Racing Development, like the special Tacomas on there, and they throw them on everything. I've seen them
Really?
on Penn-Star Chargers. I have seen them on just Chevy pickups.
Oh,
They-
so not
They go and buy the
Not
TRD badge.
Toyotas.
not Toyotas?
No, they just throw them on the randomest crap.
I have not seen
And
something like
I
this.
I immediately look at them and I initially I was like, do you even know what that means? And I'm
No.
thinking there's a
Mm-mm.
language thing there because I look at them and go, you don't speak English as your first language, which I know that's stereotypical and judgmental. And I'm not saying that makes them a bad person. I'm just saying, yeah, that's the stereotype that pops into my head.
Wow.
Okay.
Which does bring us to the car Tacoma. Toyota Tacomas are fantastic, really, really well-built trucks.
Hey,
They're
Donnie
also
loves his.
painfully overpriced. And 90% of the Tacomas I see here, especially the 4x4s with the overlanding rigs, are spotless. They are absolutely immaculately polished. They have never been off-road. It is totally a fashion accessory.
So you're mad by this.
It falls into a stereotype of you have never been camping. You just bought this to look like you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Gladiators are around here like that. A lot of gladiators like that.
Yep.
All right. On the subject of Jeeps, angry Jeeps. I'm mad. I'm a Jeep and I'm angry.
And you have to have the
angry.
the like the green eyes, like the circles. That's
the green angel eyes.
part of the angry eyes.
If I ever owned a Jeep, I would get one of those angry Jeep grills. And then I'm going to like cut it open and rotate it. So it's this. So basically I have an eye roll Jeep. That's what I want.
What?
Just an
Why don't people
eye
make
roll.
Happy
So
face
confused.
Jeeps. Come on.
Yeah,
make
They
it
do
Sure,
not.
happy.
Nope. Just angry. That's all the angry. It's how
Yes,
how much? Oh, look, we could just talk about Jeeps. We could just, who needs angry Jeeps or angry Jeeps? We just talk about Jeeps.
Yeah. By the
Especially,
way, no one's scared of your Jeep.
right? Or if
No.
you're upside down, problem, no problem, whatever you are,
And
you
in all
wave,
of all the Punisher skull
your
variations.
wave. Oh, and how
the
about all of
Punisher
the,
skull.
how about the big knobby tires with the winch out front, and you've obviously never taken, and the axles that don't work when you try to go on the beach. So I'm now just going right. So we have a big flat beach that they have Jeep weekend, and there's probably a couple hundred, maybe more Jeeps. I don't know how to estimate how many Jeeps there. It's probably 200 to 300 Jeeps. I'm just because I think they take up most of the beach going down for the anyway. So you get to see all kinds, and every once in a while you're like, oh, there's Cherokee that you like might have driven somewhere, and you're like, that's kind of fun. But then it's just mostly Wranglers with no doors and no tops, and big tires and winches and no suspension to absolutely support where you might be going with all of those.
And
This is the
we
furthest
have
off-road
like
they've ever been.
Yeah,
Yes, right.
and we have like both the communities here because being surrounded by mountains, like you've got the poser Jeeps, and then you've got like the Jeeps with the no doors and everything on there, and they've got like trail scrapes down the side, and they don't have a front sway bar, so you're waiting for that death wobble on the freeway because they actually go and take these things, all through there.
No. Well, just as we do with everything. Okay, we're on a podcast.
There's
Oh.
well, I was waiting for your reaction first. This is a
Yeah.
happy Jeep. It's a Jeep with a big smiley face and a
Oh.
happy grill. It's so nice.
It looks like a
kinda like
Japanese
that.
robot. Like
It
those
does.
little emoticons
It's
on the Japanese little.
absolutely. Oh, I love that. That's so cute.
It's in Cutter too. That's even funnier.
They're not happy there. Anyway, no, just as we're saying all of these, no, not all these things. Jeeps, yes, there are some absolutely legit people. And if you're off-roading and you're cool, that's awesome. There are the handful that might be bigger than depending on where you are. There are plenty of people that are poser Jeeps as well.
But just
Maybe
the
I should
angry
just
Jeep grill is just
fine.
So yeah, angry Jeep is it's counter to the Jeep culture.
Right. Like the little, I'm not even going to make fun of the little duck things that they do because that's nice. That's a friendly, nice thing.
Oh yeah.
Community oriented. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very nice. I wouldn't put a line up of ducks on my dashboard, but it's a very nice, happy thing that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But
yep. I'm going to go with a front or real windshield banner that has the car maker may or may not be the actual car maker of the car that you're actually in.
That
But
was
I love
such a thing when I was in high school. You didn't have a Camaro unless it said Camaro across that front windshield.
Thank you for reminding me what kind of trim I have of car. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know that was a Honda. Weird. But didn't we see one that was not a Honda?
oh yeah, I've seen ones that are wrong, and then you have to decide: is that ironic or not?
Yeah. Are you ironic or stupid?
Yes.
This next one. Yeah.
What about it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Really, really beat up cars.
Now it doesn't make me angry, but I won't park next to them.
Agree. No, we're talking about stereotypical. This isn't, yes, this is just what do I think about the person who has a very beat up car that this is Chris's line, hit a bunch of stuff, not the lottery, did not hit the lottery.
Hit everything but the lottery.
Everything but the lottery. Yeah, I won't park next to them either, or I'll give them a wide berth on the road.
Oh, we have one of these in our driveway right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Chrissy's youngest sister.
You're not wrong.
I saw it in the Porsche picture. I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh yeah.
There's not a straight pail on this poor car, but you know what? It just keeps trucking along. I have to get it past inspection. At 222,000 miles this year, it needs motor mounts and a sway bar end link on each side, and that's it. And this poor car, that's like just won't die. But good for it.
There you go. So if you're the gearhead in your office and someone's like, what should I buy for my college bound child? Mazda 3.
Totally.
Yeah.
You could buy the one in my driveway. Lots of miles, but hit a lot of things. You won't know if somebody hit something. Ta-da!
Yeah. If we had gambler rallies out here, that would be a total fitting end for this car.
That would
take
be
the fenders
awesome.
off, Navi tires,
Yes.
send it, but
it'd probably last. It'd probably survive.
Yeah. Probably would.
Said I'm going to give it to a friend for free. So
yeah,
there's that.
I always laugh when I see the very obvious buy here, pay here, like bad credit dealer plate frames, like JD Byrider. And someone's got that on there and the sticker. It's like, oh, you don't even pay attention.
I
That
can't.
car's going to be
seen
repoed
that?
in 3 weeks. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. It's like,
because they're using that. We could get you approved. And then, then there's the dealer underneath.
Do you have a job? Oh, only 29% interest through AmeriCredit. There's no way you're ever making the end of these payments.
No.
You continue to make bad bad financial decisions.
Yeah.
You
didn't buy a car. You bought a payment.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize you had put this down here, but I touched on it during the angry Jeep discussion.
Yeah, Punisher fetishism. Like, it's not just Jeeps. It's like, come on, you are not a vigilante. You're not going to go do anything. No, stop it.
No, and it's they've got all the jokes about those guys, the U.S. Gravy Seals or Meal Team 1,
Tacti Tools.
Yeah, they own a lot of 5.1 clothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
I'll add one here. Chrissy, do you want to go with yours next?
Oh, well, this is a different section of, I was just thinking about when we're talking about what?
Go ahead.
What? When we're talking about
cars or modifications that make us just think stereotypes, good or bad.
Right. So I was thinking about questionable cars. So you're saying, why is this owner like this? Do they like it because they They got it did they get it for some good reason? That I don't really know. Was it hand me down? Was it free? They have good gas mileage for long commutes. Is it automatic so they don't have to shift in traffic? What they might have some story. Why do they drive this car? That was my stereotypical idea for this topic.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. You've added
on
on to this. I'm the one who wrote the first one. So there's that. Go ahead.
There's a group of cars that I call the "you don't know any better" class, basically. You're trying to make an okay decision, but you just don't know any better. And you didn't try anything else. Like you went to the dealer and you drove this car and said, well, that's okay. Well,
and you didn't ask anybody.
Yeah.
Right,
well, that's a
better
car
than the car you had. Right. Exactly. This list includes basically most Nissans, the Ford Escape, anything made by Mitsubishi, the Hyundai Tucson,
this is what you have written quickly.
Right. The Chevy Equinox.
Oh, yes.
Right.
That is a car for people that want an American car and absolutely just don't want a car.
Yeah. That's kind of the class of cars where you just don't know any better and don't really care.
No, you're driving an Equinox because you put the same level of market research into it you did as your toaster.
Even that,
Maybe.
I have a Chevy dealer locally. I'm going to go see what they have. Oh, there's a car. Yeah,
It's
this
blue.
seems okay.
Yeah.
This is way better than my 05 Ford Escape. Yeah, okay, I'll get one of these.
Yep.
So somebody put on here, it may have been me, I don't know, but old station wagons. I feel like now station wagons, they were the mockery when we were kids. You don't want to be seen in the wagon. And now everyone wants one. Very favorite Judge Kristen Embry just got herself a great big, huge B-body wagon. She is absolutely loving it. Of course, we all know of Randy and his affinity for the big B bodies. The guy that I sold my Volvo wagon to still reaches out to me about once every 6 months just to tell me how happy he is with his Volvo wagon.
That's so
funny.
great.
Yeah. And so
it's nice to know that he actually did finish fixing it and it's got it working. That's wonderful.
Yeah, driving around. And I noticed they're not car people in the sense that we're car people. They're not interested in performance. They're not interested in racing. They don't even do a whole lot of cruising.
Interested in longevity.
And
if you have a Volvo with 740, what did you have?
740, yeah, or the 240. But yeah, people with wagons, and they tend not to modify them that much. You'll get some of them that'll bag them or squat them down, especially the old Japanese stuff. But then they leave the factory paint on them and all of that. And it is definitely just this subculture of, I like it the way it is. And they take care of them and they bond with each other and they're very friendly and you can get them talking about those wagons and there's always a story behind it. Yeah. Old wagon people are cool.
And new wagon people are cool too, because I'm one of them. But yeah, I feel like every once in a while you see an old wagon, you're like, oh, all right. Yeah. Bringing it back. My thought was, what is the backstory of people that still drive Cavaliers, Corsicas, and Cutlass Sierras?
I can't even remember the last time I saw a Corsica. I see a Cavalier.
We just saw one.
We just did in Virginia. On our way to Blue Ridge
Yeah.
Parkway. We're like, look, there's a Corsica.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a Cutlass Sierra. I was standing somewhere and I saw it drive down this.
Oh, when we were getting tacos in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a half sketch place in Oklahoma. And I was like, oh my God, it's a Corsica. Or excuse me, it was a Cutlass Sierra. And the only reason was I know half of these is either I've owned them, my parents own them, or my grandparents own them. So that's the only reason why I've listed this car. But why, if you have somebody at my work drives a Cavalier and I'm like, why?
It hasn't died, so they can go buy that Chevy Equinox yet.
Yeah, well, this is because he drives a very long way, and this is cheaper than driving a truck. But that's what just makes me think of why? What is the backstory of why somebody drives one of those now?
Interesting crossroads. I was actually driving the 911 the other day, stopped at the coffee place, and next to me was a Cutlass Sierra station wagon with the wood paneling, and it wasn't restored. It was clearly a survivor, but
just
it was
somebody driving it.
immaculate. And the guy comes out, he's on his way to his construction job because he's got his work boots on, he's carrying his reflective vest, and I'm staring at his car. I'm like, dude, that is really, really cool. And he's like, right? He's like, my neighbor had this thing in his garage, man.
Oh
and
my
then he finally
God.
put it up for sale, and I just had to buy it. I'm like, yeah, you did. He goes, man, no one saves these.
Were you standing next to your Porsche when you're saying this?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were totally, and not, not my Porsche, but I'm standing next to an air-cooled 911. No one cares
like your
about
Porsche.
the 911.
No.
Let's sit there and look at the wood paneling Cutlass Sierra wagon.
I like it. That's great.
And that rolls right in the next one.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Cars that make you like people. And the one that I had was clearly well cared for, but well used older cars that people are still rocking. And that Cutlass Sierra wagon totally would fall into that kit.
Oh yeah.
That bit.
Any Lincoln coupe older than like Mark V and older.
Even a Mark 8, a well cared for Mark 8 that someone's still using, like Sajeev, for example.
Oh yeah, but I already like Sajeev. But yeah,
right.
if I didn't know Sajeev and I saw that thing, I would like him. Yeah.
Yeah. Is someone's taking the effort to keep using the older car, but actually use it. This is not just a garage queen. It gets actually used and worked. I think that's great. Another one I don't know if I've ever met anyone that didn't like that at a Honda Fit. I feel like you have to have the right kind of temperament to have a Fit. I'd be like, I just want something that's going to be reliable and kind of fun to drive and get good gas mileage. Oh, and look at the seats, do all kinds of stuff. I can put all kinds of stuff in the back, and it's just
and
fine.
It's not
it's
an
happy
Equinox
to drive.
or a Nissan or
right.
Yeah. So they at least they actually vetted their car choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to roll through my brain because I've known dozens of people that own Honda Fits, and not
They're
very
all
many
fine
of them
people.
car people, but all of them actually good people that put thoughts into their decisions.
Yeah.
If I didn't have Mazda 3, I'd have a Honda Fit. That was the other one that was in line.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You might as well keep going because you wrote this one.
Anyone with an R, like a first gen RX-7 these days. If you're driving a first gen RX-7, you're the right kind of quirky. You're hard to
classic
find.
car at this point. Right?
Yeah, right. We don't have them here.
and it's a classic car, and it's a classic weird car that nobody can fix anymore, and most of them got sacrificed to racing.
NA
Miatas are starting to get that way. If you find a preserved NA Miata, you got to respect them.
Mm-hmm.
All the ones here have welded diffs and stickered up doors.
Well, at least you have them that don't have rocker panels that are just falling into the
gone. Yeah.
Yes, the ground.
I know we all love this is scooters. Anybody on a scooter? They're having a good time.
We don't have many people on scooters, so that's why. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mental.
And here they the Japanese or the Chinese knockoff retro engineered things, they are everywhere. And it's basically it's one step up from the bus. And some of them are fine. Some of them, they wear helmets, they've got gloves, they've got reflective outer clothing. Some of them they buy, because you can find these things all day long for $400 on Facebook Marketplace. You don't need a tag for them around here. And they,
so it's like a glorified bike, basically. Somebody just
except like with a bike, you care, and they don't care, and they're bad in traffic, and they're wearing dark clothing, and
okay, you win.
Yeah, if you're not
that's
wearing,
a
if you're on a
regional
scooter,
thing,
it is absolutely a regional thing. If you're riding a scooter and it's not something old and quirky like a Vespa or a Cushman or something, my immediate response is you have a DUI.
Because you can't drive a car. All right. Well, if you see somebody on a scooter around here, we think you're cool. So
yeah, and there are plenty of clean scooters. You got people rolling around on legit stretched Honda Ruckuses and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
scooter people are cool, but not everyone on a scooter is scooter people.
Yeah, I buy that all day. Yeah.
Scooter people is the right way to go. Yes.
All right. The one that I was just thinking of is that what makes you like people is that when you walk out into your parking lot, you're like, oh, that's a cool car. You're like, who's getting in that car? Or that's very different. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that they were into cars. That's awesome. I just, had some guy that I didn't realize who it was, and it was like a slammed BMW with a like stretched everything and like just like a nicely modded car, and I was like, oh, like you've obviously tried. And I also just found somebody who's fairly new that was like a Mustang that's got like green wheels and like green accents. Like it was just an odd, not it's fine, right? Like it's somebody who's just making it different, and it was somebody who just started in sales who's kind of a funky person. Then I was like, oh, I wouldn't have pinned that on you. So yeah,
I've had that. I had that happen a lot. I have just walked out and went, oh man, we had a 2 years ago, a group come up from Arizona, and rather than fly out, this guy drove up, and it was an old 944 with peeling clear coat. And I took note of it. And then another time I went out there and I heard it start, and it was definitely not a 944, just a very sinister snarl. And I ended up finding him and talking to him, and he had bought it when he was a lieutenant. He was a lieutenant colonel now, and blown the motor because 944. And it was his COVID project that he dropped he fitted a 5.3 into it, but this was a 6-liter that he had pulled out of an Escalade and put in there with a turbo rear end to handle the horsepower. And it looked like a beat up old 944, but it was a rocket.
That's fun.
Cool.
Sleeper.
At this point, any interesting car that shows up in my work, people just assume it's me. Like I brought the Porsche once, and people are always like, oh, it's got to be your new car out there, right? Yeah.
How'd you know?
I have the only Porsche, NSX, Mercedes, and Escalade in our entire parking lot.
I'm surprised about the Escalade.
Yeah.
It's Connecticut. Those people are going to drive
What?
Yukons.
Pennsylvania, where we live.
We live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I thought you when you go up to your corporate office there.
No,
Yeah.
just in life.
No, here.
Insurance industry. Well, why would I show off? I'm just going to drive a Yukon.
Yeah, there's a sea of every midsize crossover you could possibly imagine.
Some of the cars of which
Honda Accords, but yes,
some of the which we just mentioned earlier.
This isn't on there, but I got into the discussion at work, and I know you're holding the speaker. But have you noticed that there's this new kind of offshoot of Honda enthusiast, and they're not Honda sports enthusiast or Honda slammed enthusiast with the hella flush and all that kind of stuff. They won't modify their car, but it is almost like virtue signaling, like, oh, look, I drive this, reasonably priced mid-range Honda Accord. Like they're proud of how plain their car is. And it's like they're arrogant about that. They got the most milquetoast, middle of the road thing. They don't brag about the gas mileage. They don't brag about the reliability. They just brag that I have a Honda Accord.
An Accord's a great car.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's like this subset of, I'm better than you because I bought something plain.
I mean, I prefer that to some of the other subsets of things, but yeah.
Annoying attributes that you could add to your car.
Yep.
All right. This is a fun tack on to a
it worked out nicely with our long
totally
initial story.
What did we miss? What do you hate? Let us know. Comment in the doodly doo, all that good stuff.
Okay. You have I
have a quick just a tip.
Okay, good.
Just the tip.
Just a tip.
Wait. Because the last time it was Chris giving just a tip. That never happens. And Chrissy says, yeah. So I see Chrissy goes, oh, he's always just a tip.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I didn't remember. I was like, what am I supposed to say?
Timber remembers.
Yeah.
Apparently. Thank you, Timber. Oh, good.
This is a simple one. Having just driven a long way and also having driven recently with a blown heater core, this is something simple that you can do that'll make your life better, especially driving at night because this is the darkest time of the year. Go clean your windshield. Do it this weekend. Clean the inside and outside of the windshield thoroughly. And every time you do, it's great. It's like when you clean your sunglasses when you're at the beach, it's been all day and you clean them. It's like, wow, this is like a new world. This is amazing.
So the caveat to that is clean it, then make sure that you do it into the sun. So you're looking at all the angles, because chances are you missed a spot. Chances are it's right where you see, and you're going to be really annoyed by it. So make sure that you wash it once and then you go wash it again, because that's what happens just about every time.
buff it after you wash it. That gets rid of some of the streaks. And we have a lot better luck washing the windshield with newspaper than with paper towels. Does
That's a great just the tip. Thank you.
Yep. Wash your
Absolutely.
windshield. No one's ever upset by washing their windshield if they did it well. It's always a very
As long
nice,
as you do it
pleasant
well.
thing to have that clean glass.
Yes.
Good. Thanks for that.
That's all. Anything else?
No.
No.
Great. Well,
What
hey,
time is it?
Well, actually, yeah, but there is that thing down there right below this, Chrissy, for you. I don't know if you scrolled down that far.
I'll
I
just
can read
add
it.
that in too.
I could.
Hey,
read
if you
that.
guys
Okay.
listen to us on Google Podcast,
Oh.
that service is coming to a close. That's the decision of the Googles. You can still find us on any other podcatcher of your choice, including YouTube Music, which is what Google is using to replace their podcast program. So anyway, that's for downloading us, even if it was on Google Podcast, and you can never, ever do it again. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. Hope you don't join us in the world of driving, racing, building, and poor choice road trips, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe, like on YouTube Music, for example. That might be a place to do it. It's totally free. But then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, because those are the ones that matter. Even if you hated us, 5 stars and tell us why. Questions, comments, show ideas, emotional outbursts, drop us a comment on Facebook, Everyone Racers. Email us, everyone.racers@gmail. Text mental 484-243-0455. We're on all the other social media things as Everyone Racers or everyone.racers, so go there too. And until then, keep the shiny side up, unless your car's unexpectedly in the garage with massive oil leaks, then just keep fixing it.